Have you ever gone through something so heavy that your body starts to feel it before you even understand what's happening? Maybe you're overwhelmed. Maybe you're trying to hold everything together for everyone else. Maybe you're in a situation that feels like there's no clear way out. If that's you right now, I want you to know before we go any further that you're not alone. Welcome back to Turn the Lens Inward. I'm Lisa Taylor, and this podcast is about helping you navigate life's hardest moments, whether that's parenting, relationships, stress, or just feeling like you're carrying more than you can handle by coming back to yourself. Today's episode is a solo one, and it's deeply personal. I'm going to take you into a season of my life where I was under so much stress, I actually lost the ability to breathe normally. My body was in constant fight or flight, and I didn't even realize how much I was carrying alone. And through that experience, I learned three things that helped me begin to come out of it. So if you're in a hard season right now, if you feel stuck, overwhelmed, or like barely keeping your head above water, stick with me. Because these three shifts might be exactly what you need to start finding your way back. Everybody I talk to these days is going through something tough. And you might be too. What do you do when you're going through something terrible? When life is just knocking you down, you can't seem to climb your way out. It's so overwhelming. It's exhausting. You might be financially struggling. You might be physically struggling. You might be in a situation that you just can't see yourself getting out of. Somebody who you love might be in a situation and you're trying to support them. You're trying to control it all. When we are in this season of struggle, our bodies can take the brunt of it. And this happened to me. I was going through the hard times with my kid, her mental illness. I also was financially strapped because I had already left my corporate position. I was living off of my pension, trying to find a way to make an income that brought me joy, that makes me happy. And what happened was I lost the ability to breathe like a normal human being. I was constantly hyperventilating. I was always in a constant state of anxiety, fear, fight or flight. The central nervous system was pumping at a mile a minute. And I couldn't seem to get out of this state. Every single day, there was something new. You wake up and you're just hit in the face with the hard times. There's no way of climbing out of this hole. And it just became normal for people to talk to me, and I couldn't breathe. It was my normal state. People probably even questioned if I had something wrong with me physically. Where's the oxygen tank, Lisa? You can't breathe. Nobody really talked to me about it. I'm sure people recognized it. My parents didn't say anything. I would have these tactics to try to catch my breath. One of them was yawning. I would yawn and then try and catch my breath. I first figured out what was really going on when I was at a picnic with a guy I was dating, and the people were a little bit more out there. They were a little bit more woo-woo. And this gentleman, he, I don't know what his talent or practice was, but he could see things and he could feel things. And he asked if he could put his hands on my shoulders. He was standing behind me. And he didn't know me. We had literally just met that day. And he said to me, "You only breathe at 50% capacity." And it really made me question, And this is really before the breathing issue started to get really, really bad. It's almost like I went back in time and I thought about it afterwards and I thought, did he jinx me? Did he did he put some sort of curse on me? But really what it was it made sense. When you're not able to handle what's going on, it takes a toll and things start to shut down in the body. And for me, it was my breath. And I was going through this alone. I even had a coach at the time, and I didn't even tell her about it. And I felt alone. I felt like the only person in the world who had this problem. I felt ashamed of it. I felt like things weren't getting better. I wasn't putting the pieces together about anxiety and stress and breathing. But then I started to get a pain. Uh, it's sort of like in and around here where my heart is. And I got scared. I went to the doctor because that's what I do. And that's what we do. We go to our doctor when we have a pain or something really freaky is going on. And there was really nothing wrong with me. I was healthy. Okay. I honestly thought like I was developing cancer or something from when I smoked back in my 20s. All these crazy things come up in our mind, and we come up with all of these solutions or possibilities that are just out there and terrible. But nothing was wrong. So then I did something and I told somebody about it. And I talked to my friend about it. And that really opened up the beginning of the healing process for me. And she suggested to me that I go see her friend Sarah. Go see Sarah. Sarah's going to help you. Don't tell Sarah where the pain is. Just explain to her that you have this pain. I didn't really know who Sarah was or what she did, but apparently she worked with energy. At this point, I was willing to do anything. So I said, okay, I'm going to go see Sarah. Sarah worked at a wellness center and she was in this really nice clinic and she had her own office. And it was all really nice inside, really cool crystals and a salt lamp, and the ambiance was great. And she had on this really cool kimono and sat down and talked to her a little bit. And she had a table in the room, kind of like how a massage therapist has a table. So I got up on the table and she felt around a little bit and she said, yeah, it's all happening up here. And I was like, wow, okay. That kind of legitimized it for me. And then I went back. We had a real in-depth conversation. And then I had my third visit. And my third visit is where it all turned around. And I was on her table and I was on my back. And she was doing the things that she did, her hands kind of over. If you've ever had Reiki, you know what I'm talking about. I think it was Reiki, but it was also at a higher level of Reiki. And she was having me really breathe in deep and breathe out deep and breathe in deep and breathe out deep. And then all of a sudden, I had this taste in my mouth and it was foul. And there was a smell in the air and it was rancid. And I just started crying, just streaming tears. And I said to her, what is going on? What is happening? What are you doing? And she said, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's been in there for a very long time and we're going to get it out. So it was down just below my belly button in the area that's considered to be the sacral. And it was trauma. It was something that had been in there for a very long time. We didn't identify what it was. We just pulled it up. She had me flip onto my stomach, and then I could feel it in the base of my spine. And then it traveled up my spine into my shoulders. And it was just so painful. And I said, you're not going to leave that there, are you? And she was like, no, no, no. We're going to get rid of it today, right now. And she had me put my arms down, facing into the ground. And it just traveled down my arms and into the ground. And it was gone. Days later, my breath started to improve. I went and saw her a couple more times, and things just started getting better. And then she offered me this opportunity to be in this women's mastermind. And I had never been in a women's mastermind before. So I thought, okay. And we gathered in a circle in the evening in the back of the clinic. I think it was the kitchen. I can't remember. And we talked and we told our deepest problems. And we did it in a way that was so safe and secure. It was non judgmental. And we listened. And she offered us ideas to help resolve the things. And that was really where the work started for me. I started to overcome so many obstacles. And it really charged me to be able to handle all of the problems when there wasn't such physical stress and physical pain and really like the inability to breathe, which I don't think is normal in any circumstance, but seemed to be accepted by all the people in my life. So really what I'm saying here is if you're going through something really, really tough or really, really challenging and you're feeling it emotionally in your body, are you keeping it all to yourself? Are you afraid to tell somebody else about it? Are you ashamed of it? Do you isolate yourself and just deal with all of the problems and put all of the weight of the world on your own shoulders and carry all that baggage? That baggage is heavy. It's super heavy. And how do you learn to set the baggage down? Well, it starts with finding someone safe to talk to. And really, that's what I think we all need to hear is that we're important and somebody somewhere in our lives is there for us. And you might not have that person. You might be so isolated or so in a position of fear or anxiety about talking to somebody about it. You might have a therapist and you're not telling them the truth. You're not telling them everything for fear of them coming and disrupting what now probably feels like normal in your daily life. But it might not be normal what you're going through. Me being the mother of a child who was dealing with mental illness and making all the decisions for both of us on our own. And I was just allowing that to happen, not knowing what to do or how to deal. Having creditors call me on my cell phone literally all day long, not knowing how I was going to pay for rent, not knowing what I was going to do for work or where the work was going to come from, where the customers were going to come from at the time I had the online health business. It was a grind. And I was doing it all alone. And I didn't need to. Because as soon as I started the process of opening up and talking to somebody else about it, it no longer was just me and my baggage walking around. And you can do this too. Community matters. And being seen matters. And we're all deserving of this. Quick interruption. 92% of you aren't subscribed. And I just want to say I really appreciate you being here. If you'd hit follow or subscribe, it genuinely helps more than you think. That's what grows a podcast and gets it in front of the parents who need it most. Okay, let's get back to it. One of the other things that I started to do after the beginning stages of healing and doing the work began was finding peace, finding solace, and going out in nature. I used to drive down to the beach every day. I would put my feet in the water or walk in the sand or sit in the grass. And really, what that's called is grounding, getting into the earth and letting nature nurture me. It was years. I did that for years. I even with my friend Lynn, who was the one who told me to go see her friend Sarah, together we started something called the Beach Cause. And we would be down on the beach and we would invite other friends to come join us and network with us. And we would talk about business and we would talk about life and we would go and walk in the water and she would bring coloring books and we would do some type of art and craft and just being able to get outside of your life for an hour or two and walk away from all the problems, all the issues. Are you taking advantage of this in your life yourself? Are you going for a walk outside, listening to the birds, feeling the sun on your face? Maybe it's something physical that you want to do. Maybe you want to play a sport, go for a run, go for a bike ride, go to the gym. There's so many things that you can do to get into your body, out of your mind. And really, it's so good for healing. So good for healing. That beach cause, that's saved my life. I we would do it, I think, on Tuesdays. And I looked forward to Tuesdays. It was something that I knew was going to make a difference in my week. And then, of course, being around community and being in nature. Oh, double whammy. Amazing. The last thing that I really think is of importance if you're going through something really heavy and you just don't know how to get out of it and you're in the middle of it is how do you talk to yourself? What's going on up here in this mind of yours? Do you listen to the words? Do you listen to what we say? We, my multiple personalities going off in my head. Do you listen? Can you hear it? Start paying attention because what you say internally and externally and write down and say to other people, it matters. It all matters. The language matters because you are writing the script of your life. And if you say things that tear yourself down and they're negative and you're never going to get out of the situation, then you are never going to get out of this situation. And it's not lying to yourself. It's knowing that you don't have to stay in this place. You can get outside of this place and go to another place. When my daughter was beginning her real healing process, she said to me, "Mom, the staircase is so high, but I can only take it one step at a time." Because I'm the kind of person who I really love to do everything at once. I'm an action taker. I go at it full force. And I really try to go from 0 to 60. But when it comes to how we're talking to ourselves, we can try to go from 0 to 60, switch it around. But I think it's almost impossible to turn it around 100% 24/7 because we're not conscious of all of the things that we're saying. It's a process. It's a process in order to get conscious and aware of what it is that we're saying. So that would be my first suggestion to you when it comes to the language and the beginning stages of getting out of something really heavy or that something that you're just stuck in the weeds. How are you talking to yourself? And turn it into something positive. And then along with that, coinciding is, what do we believe? So what we're saying to ourselves is really what we believe. So when you start listening to what you're saying, you're going to start listening to what you believe. And we act automatically, unconsciously on our beliefs. So what do you believe? Do you believe that things are going to get better? Do you believe that one day you're going to have the things that you want and you're dreaming of and you're working towards? Do you believe that the situation's going to get better? Do you believe that the financial struggle can end? Do you believe that your kid is one day going to knock your socks off and become a completely different human being than what they are today? I recognized I didn't believe it. I was playing this story over and over and over and over again in my head. And that's why it took 6 freaking years for me to get out of it. Don't let it take you 6 years. Start today. It's 2026. The world is so different than what it was when I started in 2016. And we have so much capability to be able to plug into positivity on social media with who we're surrounded with what's going on in our brain. If you have a piece of paper and a pen, you can write down how you want your life to look. And then you can start dreaming about it, designing it, talking in that language, believing it's going to happen. You are so courageous. You are so resilient. You have more than enough of everything that you need already born inside of you. We all do. We're all deserving of the best. And I know without a doubt, one single iota of a doubt that your life can change. But it has to begin somewhere. So maybe these 3 ideas of talking to somebody, finding some joy, get out there in nature, move your body, just even if it's for a couple of minutes in a day, get out of that situation you're in. And then listening to how you're talking to yourself and changing it so that you know in your head it's going to get better, and believe it. Manifest that, man. You can do this. Everything can get better. This may sound like fluff to you, but I've lived it. I've become it. My life is so much better, and it's going to continue to get better. And yours can too. So if you don't have anybody to reach out to, reach out to me. So that's it for today's podcast. I hope that it's maybe given you just a little bit of inspiration, but also some tangible tips that you can take and you can implement that don't cost you any money. And really, it can just be the starting point of the new you, the new life, the amazing life that you are here to live. Have a lovely day.